Hello, hello. Give me a few minutes and let me just set everything up. Then we can start. We can start. We can start. This might be a short video because I'm a little busy today. Well, actually, this is work, so technically I should be doing more of this, but anyways. Regardless, let me just start with just see if everything's working. Fine. Thumbnail time. I don't know what I'm making. This is just fun to do. Thumbnails are just fun to do. You just make them all day without any problems. Of course, that's not the agenda of today's video, though. I should make a thumbnail video, actually. Just like doing thumbnails. But I think there are plenty on YouTube about it, so I don't know. That, and I need to make a timetable, which I still have not made. Timetable or a schedule, so, like when I will be streaming on a consistent basis. But for now, I don't really care getting views live. It's more like the stream is recorded and like, you know, saved on YouTube. So people can always go back and look at it because it's pretty boring to look at this stuff like live all the time. Like I would get bored myself, so I'm just like, why would I torture someone else with it, kind of thing. But yeah, it's fine, I guess. This is like really random things. This is just practice, basically, like warming up yourself, or you know, getting in the groove to be able to do all this stuff. Yeah, but today we'll be doing like a level design thing. Um, there was a concept that I had done some time ago for this same game, which I was doing the character design last stream. So wait, let me. The idea was, let me go to the level design. Part. Okay. So I built these terrain concepts, and the idea was that these are going to be platforms for the players to, like, you know, brawl on. And the design was all about how there is like lava. No, what is it? No, how there is going to be like lava that's going to be flowing around. That's that hints the design or any form of mechanism. If I am to include, I cannot disclose that actually. I'm trying to not disclose that. But like how the environment is going to affect the characters, like to put it simply. So now, what I'm going to do today is showcase how I'm going to do the placement for this, and also create a mock, what you call it, like a concept for the how the level is going to look like in gameplay, right? So that's basically what I'm going to be doing today. So the first things first is Like, just decide on where you want your platforms to be placed so you can roughly sketch it out. Since I already have a clear idea, I'm not going to do thumbnails on this. I just have to look at how I've done the design of my platforms in the first place, and just create like a side profile version of it. That's basically what I'm going to be doing. So like, just like, hey, this is what the platform is about, So that'll be the first of the many examples that I'll be working on. 1 minute. Someone's online. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. So just roughly lay out where you're going to place your level, like how you're going to place the platforms. That's what I am going to start off with. Like, you want to make all the problem solving and anything that involves with whether it's level design, character design, and any form of environment design, even if you're doing like designing assets or any kind of props for a video game, you want to simplify it. Not oversimplify it, but simplify it enough that it's just easy for the brain to process all the time, whether you're doing it for yourself or you're doing it for someone else. It's really, really useful to do this because it's gonna help. It's really gonna help you understand, like, oh, this is how I want to, solve the problem. It's easier to solve a simple problem than to solve a complicated one. That's the whole idea of, like, simplifying your designs. And you don't want to make it like, when I say simple, there is one where you call visuals, like, basically simple in terms of visuals and in terms of mechanics, right? Now, this is mostly what I do. This is me, right? I mostly take care of visuals. I don't take care of mechanics that much, but every now and then I have to play the role between the two. That's where the idea of being a concept artist comes into play. You're not just solving somebody's you're not just creating a design that is simple to make. You are creating a design that you want to make sure works inside your game, right? It should be functional, right? It should work inside your game. If this design does not work in the game, there is no point of doing the concept in the first place. This is something really, really important that most of the people tend to forget. So that's the whole gist of creating concepts. And lately, most of the time I see concept design, most people will make like these really huge, massive environment like structures, like, they'll be like, oh, this like really big environments, and you'll see a little spearman or some kind of a little person in that whole environment, and it'll be like it'll be something like this. I mean, it's fun to do it, and it's fun to do it in your free time or something. There'll be like a huge, building or castle or something like that, and then there'll be this one small guy looking at the whole thing. They'll be looking in this direction or something, and then they'll, like, render it, like they'll make a really good quality with lights and everything, and they'll just make this, and then they'll be like, they'll create some kind of a path like this, or something like that. I mean, it could be a different structure. This could be sci-fi. This could be anything. But they always do. Most of the people I've seen, most of the artwork go in this direction, and they'll make this kind of thing. It'll be like a big building, small person kind of thing. You know, big, small. Yeah, big building, small person kind of thing. And then they'll say, "Oh, it's a story. He's going somewhere." That's a lazy story, man. No offense. That's a very lazy story. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. This probably in blue sky phase. Blue sky is a phase where your early stages of pre-production, where nobody knows what the art direction is, nobody knows anything about what it's going to be. Maybe you can get away with it, but if you're going to do this in like the rest of your concept design work, then you're probably not going to get work. I'm telling you right now. Nobody cares about that stuff. The reality is they want you to iterate designs as quick as possible so that they don't have to spend a lot of time and money on 3D. I'm not saying that 3D artists can't do it fast. What I'm saying is it's more difficult and it's more time consuming to design something in 3D than on pencil and paper. That's the whole gist of it. So if you can design this on pencil and paper, and you can come up with like really cool ideas, that is gonna not only like be appealing and entertaining, but also be problem solve a lot of things that a 3D artist will face, and they don't have to anymore, then you're probably coming up with good concept design. And that matters a lot. So, anyways, sketching this roughly out. I'm not really going into detail. I'm just sketching this roughly out because I've already have made this in detail, right? I've already made this design in detail. So I'm just like roughly making this and creating a sense of placement of the objects, right? So I know my two platforms are like this, right? There's this, there's this, there's this. I actually want the two platforms, the ones on the top and the main platform at the bottom, to be like almost in level with each other, or if not in level, at least this one could probably be a little apart. So like so like there is like gap in space, but it has to be done. Well, this will be the trial and error part. I'll suggest this as a concept, and I'm not sure if this will be the exact one-to-one concept that they're going to follow, but this will be a trial and error where I'll be designing this layout, and I'll be like, hey, this is the general gist of the layout. The 3D artists or the other level designers, and I don't know who else. Whoever else is working, game designer or whoever else is working on this, they will just be looking at this and they'll be like, oh, okay, this is the general gist of it. Let's give it a shot. They will white box it. They'll probably just create a quick blockout and try to play it and see if it's working. If it's not working, they'll adjust it themselves. They'll come back to me telling me like, hey, look, this was a good, your initial design was good, but we had to modify it to make sure that it's playable, and that's completely fine. That's basically how regular as concept design to production works all the time. So it's completely normal when that happens. So a lot of times you're gonna face that, and then you'll be like, okay, at least the design idea is in, and we already have a very clear idea of like what we're going to make and how we're going to make it. So once this is done, right? I'll have to be very careful in how I'm creating this. Right. This is like a rough idea. Like, I don't know why I'm going into detail for this. I don't need the detail because I'm just gonna do a shortcut here. Oh, I never saved this file. Save this file, folks. Always save your files. You don't know when your computer is gonna crash. I don't trust computers anymore. I will call this um level design placement. Level design placement. Okay. This layer will be, I'll name this layer as like placement sketch or something, I don't know. Alright, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my previous, where is this? Oh, okay. I'll just take my previous design, which I had already done. So I don't have to worry about anything else, man. Remove these. Remove these. I don't need these three. Right, and I can put this all in one layer. What, I think the volcanoes I won't put in one layer. I'm not that dumb. Reduce the size of this thing to a certain degree. Enter. Don't need the volcanoes in one layer. Or whatever that, you know, spewing lava is gonna be like. I don't need that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna adjust the size of this. Crop and cut, crop, paste, do whatever I want, and just reuse this as an asset. This is more like a rendering and, you know, rendering and I think painting technique that you can use. And I will also change this to white, probably reduce the overall, yeah, so that I can see where the placements are. And I will just do this. Ta-da! It's that easy, man. Not very hard. Just have to keep doing it, man. That's all. That's all. There you go. So I've got a rough layout of how this is going to be. Right. Tick this mark. Next thing I'm going to do is probably just cut stuff and then just keep moving them around and get like a overall structure done for this. Saves up a lot of time if you do this process, to be honest. And you don't have to worry about like what else I can and cannot do kind of thing. Because overall painting was done, why would I paint it all over again when I know this is already finalized? Just reuse the things, man. That's all there is to it. Just move it here. Just paint it, like, because I'll paint over to clean up anyway. So what'll happen is that it'll just pop out everywhere and it'll look correct at that point. Reduce the opacity of this because I really do not want that white. Really do not want that. And I'll just paint over, like, I'll just paint over on it. I'll probably use a textured brush because I don't want to lose the overall texture of this. But yeah, I'll just paint over, man. That's it. Have the confidence to do that. There you go. See that? Just paint over it, man. So normally this is the thing that will take time. Like painting over would be the probable thing that will take your time. But other than that, most of your work will be done. Like because you already have done this design. If you were to design this from scratch, then yes, it would take time. But if you've already done this before, like if you've already done the design, then you probably won't have any problems with the case. Right, so I'll just like paint over roughly. I feel this is too thin as a platform, so probably I'll change the shape of the overall shape of the platform, but like, you know, this is probably gonna help a lot for me. Um, if I do want to showcase how to paint rocks, which is probably the one very thing I'm good at, painting rocks, for real. I'll probably do that in another video or something. But yes, I do know how to paint rocks very well. I'm a proud citizen who knows how to paint rocks. Jokes aside, it's not very hard to paint this, to be honest. Uh, but you do need to be careful on the shapes. So I know my shapes are like this is where my edges are. So if I hide this off, there you go. This is where my edges are. And this part here is probably going to become one with the lower base of the, you know, of the structure. So this will become a little more circular here as well. Same with this part, and there will be one circular part here, because that's the design of the structure, overall structure. Similarly going there. This is flat. See, if you paint enough and you know what you're painting in terms of like your own design, then you're never going to have problems. Believe me. This is why you learn how to draw. And then probably because I said I wanted this, like, this is too thin. Like, it's a good platform, but it's too thin. So, and I'm already clearly seeing problems if I make this too thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give it more rough added weight, or you could say depth or size or whatever, I don't know. But I would probably give it more, you know, depth and size or whatever. So this will give me an overall understanding to how big this platform is. See, this is the reason why I kept the volcano stuff in a separate layer, because if I added this as well, it'd just be a big mess. I don't want to do that. I can always paint that in later, so it's completely fine. The main goal is like getting the platform right. And by the end of this probably video, you'll probably be able to understand like why I was doing this in the first place. Let's get this, probably, this will be bigger. This additional protrusion of the platform is actually not important, it's just an aesthetic. So I can actually get rid of it, but because it's there as an aesthetic, I want to keep it, you know. But yeah, see that? I've got the, you could say, side profile of this platform simply by painting over my existing paintings, so that you don't have to draw this again. Like, all this while, I think most of the previous videos, everyone has seen is like I've mostly been doing line art, and this is like one of the first videos where I'm just like painting over straight up, right? Just want to put it out there that you should be able to do both at some point in the future, at some point in your, you know, journey as an artist. You get good there. If you don't do that, like if you don't know how to do it, it's fine. But like at some point you will improve to a point, like, you know, you will improve to a level where you can do both, and that is what should be your goal as an individual and an artist. Alright, so then this is a rough layout. I'll do the cleanup Cleanup takes a while, so normally I do cleanups like behind the scenes kind of thing. Cleanup is like all about like adding that 20%, extra 20% of uh, finesse into your painting. But like my major work is done, man. Like I've built the rocks. The rock is done. I could do the same thing, right? I could do the same thing for the other rock pieces, or I could just use this existing one and continue painting over. But I may use the other rock pieces because, or I would just use it as reference because I clearly get an understanding of the shape and size. So let's copy this. And this is the main. Got another one. Got another one here, sir. Gotcha, man. Okay, so this, take it down, put it up in the center. It's just a repeat process now. But I think this is what is going to take my entire 1 hour of the video. I can't help it, I'm so sorry. Sometimes you could even do this. I don't know if it'll work or not, but like I'll give it a shot. It's a shot in the dark. Do not know if it'll work. Stay tuned. Wait, it works. What do you know? What do you know? Well, this is an easier process. What do you know? I discovered something new today. No, actually, no. It's just... I was just aware. I knew it all. But, okay, anyways. Painting it over anyways, because it'll still require cleanup. It will still require cleanup, sir. I don't need this anymore. Probably erase this part. Yeah, don't hesitate when it comes to erasing stuff, man. Don't hesitate. You should treat your work like you're okay with deleting if you know it's not good. But don't delete everything in life. I'm telling you that much. That's bad. Alright, anyways. So this will be a rough layout of this middle platform. Probably now this platform I need to reduce in terms of like overall shape density and all that stuff, because I don't want the lower platform, I don't want it to compete with the lower platform in terms of design, or you could say in terms of like shape and silhouette or something like that. So this platform can actually be thinner. Wait a moment. This platform can actually be thinner. See that? Just do it this way, and I think you're good to go. That's what they told me, but it wasn't true. Anyways, so this platform will probably be thinner overall. Like a very thin frame here. Same thing goes here. Because I want that room, right? Like if the player is down here, I want that room of visibility. And this is something that we will face when you're designing the game. So you're keeping in mind all the time how the player is going to be behaving in the game. If you as a concept artist fail to see this, then you need training, folks. You need training. Always keep in mind what the player is going to see. It's called end user perspective. If you want to say it like a, business corporate style. But that's one platform. now. Okay, now comes the last one. Well, I may actually finish this faster than I expected it to be, which is good, very good, because I need to send this to the 3D folks and tell them, hey, you need to make this in 3D. So they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. Now this one's easy because I need to make just one, and the other one will be like a mirror of the first. So this one's easy. Easy peasy. I just have to do it once. That's it. Yeah, just do this because the reason why I'm copy pasting this is because the color palette of this platform's already set. So I don't have to like redo the colors again. That's the reason why I'm copy pasting, otherwise I wouldn't do it. And anyways, it's my own drawing, so like nobody cares. It's my own thing, man. Why would anyone care? Right. So this is like spawn point. This is like another spawn point. The only thing I cannot talk about in this stream is the game mechanic and game design. No, game design yes, but game mechanic no. I cannot talk about the game mechanic. I'm not allowed to. But yes, I can showcase level design. I can showcase character design. I can showcase anything related to art. I'm allowed to do that. But I cannot talk about game mechanics. Like how the game will play, what the features are. Not allowed. Sorry, sirs. That is something everyone will have to wait for when the game is out. And this is just the initial phase. So, like, you could say, if you were to make a game, this is the phase you'd be in. If you've just started, if the project has just started and it's like 1 month in or maybe less than a month in, this is what you'd be doing. And now let me just make a copy of this. It's on the other side. Flip. Wow, what's wrong with this guy? Okay, there you go. Okay. Right. Okay, there you go. So this will be the overall placement design. And now you just have to spend time rendering and detailing it. But before I go to that, because that takes a long time and I'm just going to be wasting the rest of the video if I do that. Before I go into that, there is a character which is already done. Here you go. This is a character. This is one of the main characters. A lot of people say like, hey, this looks like Baymax's brother from another mother or something. Yeah. Okay, yes. It does look like that. But it is very important in level design or in game design or concept art or whatever, that you actually showcase where the character is going to be standing and how big it's going to be with respect to the environment. So let's just say I roughly want the character to be at this size. So this is where the character will be standing. Now it already looks cool because the character is rendered pretty well. But this is very, very important, because if you can showcase this, then it will be easier for the 3D artist to understand the relative scale between the two objects. So it helps. It really does. Believe me. You need to do that all the freaking time. Don't ever skip on this. If you do, I'll find you and I'll slap you. I swear. No, just kidding. But yes, you need to do this all the time. It's very, very important. Right. And then the rest of this time you can then spend on rendering. So it's like this. Say if you were to design a level, and you already have a clear idea of what the level design is going to be. You've spoken to the level designer in the in the game design department, who's basically just whiteboxing stuff. You've spoken to those guys. You've spoken to other concept art people that are working with you. So let's just say you've spoken to everyone, and everyone agrees with the references that you've collected, and you're going with a certain art direction. Say you've built some sketches, like you've done these, and you've made sketches and everything. It doesn't have to be a fully rendered painting. It could be like something like this. Let me just go. There you go. You've done these, and you're like, hey, look, this is the idea. These are the sketches. What do you think? And then you showcase some references, like saying, like, hey, look, uh, references for mood board lighting, your colors, your textures, whatever. You've shown them all that, and then they're like, yes, let's just go ahead with this. Let's see how it looks. Show me a rendered version of how it looks. And then you come down to this thing. You've created a rough idea. You already have a color palette that you're working with, so you're able to finish this fast. And you've done all this, right? You've completed all this part. And you've created that character before, maybe, for the scale. If you've not created a character, you can always, by all means, create like a rough character placeholder of a person. Normally it's just an average person. It doesn't even have to be like rendered, but like a rough character placeholder of a person and how big they are in terms of the relative scale of the environment. You can always do this and showcase them this stuff. Like say like, hey, look, this is the thing. Of course, you need to render this a little bit more, but like you'll be like, hey, look, this is the thing. This is what I've done. What do you think? Now, since that character is alien, actually the person standing next to the character is also equally important, because what will happen is the 3D artist will be able to then refer to an actual human scale with respect to the character and the environment. So if you can showcase this to a certain degree and make them understand that this is what you're doing, it makes sense. Now, breaking it down for the day, like how can you finish this in like a day's period, right? You started off the way I have started off, like you already have the color palette, you have the sketches, you have everything, and now you're creating the layout for the level. You started off like this. You start in the morning. I've spent like I think 45 minutes in just understanding that this is what my design is going to be, right? 45 minutes. Now the rest of the day I can just spend time creating the rendered version of it. Or maybe I could create more levels, it's fine. But right now the requirement is just create one level, so it's like less work for me. But if, say for example, you were told like you need to create at least 3, then you would spend 45 minutes, or maybe you would spend like let's just say an hour. You'd spend 3 hours working on like the initial design of the sketch. And say if you're working a normal concept job of like 8 hours, right? 3 hours you spend on sketching, you finalize the design, you know exactly what it's going to be like, you have a very clear idea of like what the overall overall mood, color, texture, everything is going to be like, and then you spend the remaining 5 hours rendering that. That's it. You don't have to use your head even more than that. Then you've practically completed like a lot of work in a day that way. So if you can do that, then you'll actually be like pretty valuable to most of the people who you're working with. It's very useful to do this. I don't know how many people actually talk about this in concept art, but yeah, this is like pretty useful. If you can do this, then a lot of your work gets done. It's basically time management in its own way, but yeah, that's the goal, man. That's the goal. It's all about time management. Look at this banging. Thanks, man. I don't know. I think he left. But yeah, whoever is going to see this recording, just I would say just take away that time management thing from me, like, or take it from anyone else. I don't care. Like, just take that time management thing. That's really going to help you in concept art. Believe me. This is not. This is not leveled. Oh no, it is leveled. There you go. Right, and then the rest of the day, I'm just like rendering this out. That's it. End of story. Completed major of the work. I wanted it to be like the camera is slightly tilted upwards. That's also part of the design, so that's also gonna happen. Right. So this protrusion is actually very hard to showcase in a side profile. That's the reason why I have a perspective view for more information. But other than that, like most of the work in that, and that protrusion is actually not, it's not important because the players are not actually going to use that section at all. They're just going to be using an area space of the level. Oh, which reminds me, if you can add this, I don't know, a lot of people don't do this, but I do this. If you can add this, let's just say I'm gonna create. Hello, what happened? Oh, there you go. I'm gonna create something called like collisions and hitboxes, or a sense of collision and hitboxes for the designers to understand. Actually, this is a designer's job. This is not my job. This is really not my job. As a concept artist, this is not my job. As a designer, this is my job. So if you were doing a designer's work, let's just say I'm going to create a red one and just fill this up. Then I'll create a green one. I'll tell you what these are real quick. And a yellow one. I don't know if the yellow one's going to be required. I just made an extra palette there. Okay. The red one is going to be our collisions. That's why I said this is a designer's job. The green one is going to be your hitboxes of, I mean, there are also collisions, but hitboxes of the character. So I'll call it character. And the yellow one could be, you could say collisions, but you can go under. Meaning you can, I'll explain you. So I want my collisions for the yellows on these, right? So it'll be something like this. Meaning the player can pass through them. Like if the player is underneath and jumps above, they can pass through that platform and land on the platform. And until they don't press down and jump again, they will not jump below the platform. Right, so these are the yellows, like the same thing here. Right, but they have to either jump from underneath, or they have to press down jump when they're going below. If they try to hit from the side, they will collide into the platform in a way, like, I don't know, man, like, you know, it's just like the upper end of the platform is like you could stay on kind of thing. So this is basically the designer's way of saying like, hey, look, these platforms are, you can pass through them, provided you meet the conditions kind of thing. And the red ones is the platform that you cannot pass through at all. Right, this platform you cannot pass through at all. So what I'll do is I'll create like this collision box like this. Probably it's going to be something like this. I do not want the entire object to be with the collision box. So say for example this lower half here, it doesn't need a collision box. So that means the player can actually go underneath and stick to the wall and like keep doing like a reverse jump hop thing, trying to, you know, come back up. Right. Like if you've seen Smash, you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. And then finally, the green one is the character's collision box. So I'll be like, oh yeah, what are the character as a collision box? And it'll be probably something like this. Hitbox frames or whatever. So they'll have that, and then probably another square like this, another square like this. So if they extend a hand or something, then there'll be another draw. There'll be a draw call for another collision over there, you know, for that frame or something like that. So, you know, understanding all this is like pretty useful. So, like, you know, like if you could design all this is like problem solving, man. This is like a lot of problem solving. Pretty useful, if you ask me. Well, in the same way, this will be passable. So this arrow will this. Same goes here. Same goes here. Right? Call it pass under. And call it cannot pass. You shall not pass. Right, there you go. So if you can design this, well, this is a lot of extra work, to be honest. And normally a game designer, level designer, is going to handle this. A concept artist doesn't need to worry about this stuff. But if you're in a small indie team and your game designer or level designer does not exist in that team, and you're practically playing multiple hats, this is when you start understanding how a game works. So it is always advised that the person who's working on these kind of games knows these kind of games. Like they actually spend time playing these games. Even though I think the title of my videos are wrong. I shouldn't be calling it just fighting games. I should be calling like I don't know, arena brawler or something like that, like platform brawler game or something like that, because that's more accurate. But if you spend time playing those games, you'll understand the mechanics of those games, which in turn will help you understand how to design those games in the long run. Of course, you'll not be perfect, and that's completely fine, but it's going to give you a very good idea of how it's going to be, at least in like a, you know, basic start off designing 101 kind of thing, right? It's going to help. It's really going to help. So spend time doing that. Does that mean you get to play more games? Yes, of course you get to play more games. That's basically what I'm saying. Spend time playing those games. If you want to get into the gaming industry to make cool games, but if you don't play those games, then what's the point of you being there? That's my straight up question. Like, you're not going to do a good job. Like, you know, making games and you don't play games at all, you're not going to do a good job. Spend time playing something. If possible, even I would encourage, in today's day, I would encourage, if those games have like a competitive scene, spend time looking at that stuff, or even like trying to get into a tournament and play that. And it doesn't matter if you win or not, but you're going to take away a lot more information than probably games have to give otherwise. You'll learn secret techniques, you'll learn like tricks, you'll learn like different combos. At least if it's a fighting game tournament, you'll learn how frame data works. You know, all those big words that are normally thrown off most of the time by people. I mean, not everyone throws them off. I know a lot of people who do know that, but you'll also learn how those games are made, like in its own way. So you should be spending time playing those games and understanding them for research purposes. I'm not saying you should spend like 200 plus hours, 300 plus hours, or thousands of hours playing that game. No, you don't have to do that. But spend time playing that game just enough to understand what that game is about and how that game works. Right? It's kind of like a reverse engineering thing, right? So if you can do that, then you're pretty much you pretty much will be able to understand a lot of work in design. You don't need like a full-blown design school course. You know, you can teach yourself how to do it. Teach yourself how to do it, create a portfolio, apply places. You're probably going to get rejected by thousands of different places. But eventually there'll be somebody out there who'll be like, oh yeah, this guy's like pretty cool, let's give them a chance. And that's when you step in the first time and you'll be able to, you know, that's when you have to like perform and prove yourself that you're good at it. So yeah, this is like painting now. It's just rendering. Because most of the work is done. Now, I did make a copy, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first render it and then copy that and paste it so that I don't have to paint both of them separately. Right? So honestly, one thing I will definitely call out, my perspective here is not perfect. It isn't. That's not the point. I just want the placements to be done. Perspectives can be handled by my 3D team in this case. So what will happen is when they actually make this in 3D and they will create the camera and all of that, they will then showcase me this part and say like, hey, look, this is how it looks in 3D, and I just have to see it and look at it and be like, okay, yeah, it's done. Because 3D handles perspective better than, you know, any person in 2D, unless you're like some god level person in understanding how to make perspectives, which I am not for sure. But yeah, 3D can handle a lot. Like I could make the same thing in 3D and do it, like make a mock-up of it and make it in 3D. But since the goal here is to create a visual placeholder, you can just paint it in. It's you spend less time, to be fair. So it's just easier to just give it like random details. I'll probably merge all these. Who does perspectives? Let me hide this. Let me hide this. Actually, I'll just put this guy here. Let me just merge all these for now because I just want to paint them in one. Just keep them in one layer and paint them together, and then separate them out again if I have to, which I probably will. So yeah, just do this, right? The only reason I'm actually making this is because honestly I haven't found any. I've also not found a lot of videos about designing level design or environment art or character concept art for fighting games. I've just not found any. And I like fighting games a lot, so I was just like, shit, why is it not there on YouTube? There's a lot of concept art videos, of course. They'll be like, oh, you should make concept art. You should strive, receive, and make some amazing stuff, but like, other than that, I don't find like specific technical know-how details. So I was just like, peeved about that, and I was just like, okay, if I can't find it, I'll make them myself. End of story. That's basically how I started streaming this shit. The reason for my streaming, folks, now you all know the secrets. The secret of the cheeky. Painting, you'll just improve. No one starts up as a good painter, so it'll just take time, but you'll improve as a painter as you keep painting over time. But like but my major work here is done. Look at that. Overall, like I just have to clean it up, like make clean lines on the edges, and my major work is done. Of course, that lava thing is just still there, but like I'm fine with that. Like, you know, I'll do it behind the scenes and I'll post it or something. Right, right, right. Would you look at that, man? My drawing is completed. Just be good at this. Just get good. Yep. So yeah, if you can do this. Right. Now the last one. This one's easy because this one's kind of rendered already, so look at that. It already looks good to begin with, so I don't have a lot of work on it. There is also the key element of creating the background, like the art behind the entire background, like I mean the entire level. There's also that stuff. I'll probably do that for the next video. Because there'll be like, because there I need some planning to do. I've not even decided what the BG is gonna be like, and I'll have to come up with several BGs. But I'll do that next. I'll do that like for the next video, probably tomorrow. Yeah, I can stream tomorrow. Probably tomorrow I'll do this. I'll do the BG part, so yeah, stay tuned. I'll probably create the thumbnails beforehand and then do the BG part tomorrow right away. Like show you like how do you do the background. Right. GG's. Alright, so the other thing was the lava flow. Remember lava flow. So I'm stylizing this shit as far as lava flow is concerned. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be like this lava flow here. Right. I'm creating this on a separate layer just for the record. Anyone who's like paying attention and asking me about, who wishes to ask me about like what layers are, how many layers are you using and all that shit. So I'm creating the lava on the separate layer. That's for sure. That's for sure, man. Right, there'll be another one here on the backside. Probably some more on the backside. So this lava is actually not going to do anything. It's just a visual cue against the game, I guess. Now, there was something I did. Was these lines. These lines, yeah. What are these lines, actually? So initially I created these lines randomly, but I realized I could use this for a design placement. So because I know there is a space for the players to fight in, the lines are only going to cover up that much of the region. Saying like, hey, this is the area where the players can fight, so that is the area the players will be fighting, right? Of course, there will be requirements of some adjustments of the level itself. I mean the platform, but this is the area the players will be fighting, right? Create this like weird. I don't know what I did there. Created like some sort of a basketball court made of lava lines or something. I mean, you could do that, but yeah, this will be the area, right? So like, create like I could do that. I could actually create a basketball court kind of style. I'll have to think. I'll have to come up with a design logo pattern or something like that, and then probably that'll work better. But yeah, see that? Just breaking here, just to give it a little visual interest. That's it. But yeah, the lines will be there. Going back to my painting and adding more visual depth over here so that it feels like it's now on the platform. Similarly here, feels like it's part of the platform. See that? See how easy this is? If you know what you're doing, of course. And I don't want this to be a mirrored object, but it's fine if it is. But the point is that now you have a clear understanding how much of the visual line is going to be there. Right? Yo, let's see that happening. So this will give you a very clear idea of how the platform is designed then. Like in terms of like spacing and everything. So you got this, and then I'm gonna do the similar thing with the other two platforms, right? Like create this sense of area, which is gonna be the spot for fighting. One of my designers actually messaging me asking like, hey, we don't have enough information videos about brawler games in general, or combat games in general. I told you there is a scarcity of all that online. There are a lot of videos about fighting games, that's for sure, but like there is a scarcity on design, bro. Yep, that is okay. I wasn't joking when I said what I said. I just know it. The only reason why I know this stuff is because I play those games all the freaking time. Anyone wants to play a match against me and like, I don't know, right now I'm playing like Brawlhalla, Multiverses, and Street Fighter 6. So anyone wants to play a match against me in these games, just call me. I'm not a really amazing player, but like I do play a lot. Yes. So I won't lose to, like, confidently saying this, I won't lose to someone who doesn't know the game or is like a beginner. But yeah, I'll definitely lose to someone who's like a pro. I'm somewhere in between that right now in those games. Trying to go up that rank. But yeah, there you go. See that? Drop turn. Okay, so yeah, probably I could create one more, you know, visual. Like, oh, there's a lot of lava spewing all over the place, bro. What is this going on? Okay, anyways, so we got this design. Right, I needed to make a copy of this. Shift Command J. No. Command J. I keep saying Command J, but I'm using a Windows computer. What is wrong with me? There we go. This. Right, the placement's not 100%, but it's gonna get most of the work done. And the same thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this. Flip it. You know you want to do it. Okay, there you go. So this will be like the level design. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is probably tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow for the video. I'll be creating the environment. To do that, which I will show you right away, actually, to be honest. Let me just copy this. Call this level concept folder or something like that in the right. On this perspective, I'll call this as player scale. Okay. Right. Regardless of that, now the other thing I'm going to do is create the design for the environment. So I'm not going to do this in the video because it's going to take forever to do it. But I will explain you what I'm about to do, and you guys can try this out as well. Thumbnails, man, thumbnails. Right. So I already know my platforms. Like I already know what my foreground is. Basically, what I'm doing now is creating the background. So background, I can create any sorts of things, like based on the story. Like say if I want to create like, okay, since this is lava and there's a lot of rocks, I could create like some kind of a mountainous region, something like this, right? So IDs, something like this. And you know, I'll have this platform in midair over here. And it's got like lava flowing all over the place. There's a river of lava. Like I could make it like super evil, like looking kind of thing. Or clouds and all that stuff, right? Or I could do another one. Like I could create anything. I could create like natural mountains or something, or I could create like an island, which has like a volcano mountain, and the volcano mountain is about to burst, so there's all clouds all over, and there are trees and all that shit, right? There's trees, or there's like would you say, you could say it's a hilly area, so it's like a hill or something, so it's not an island per se, or you could say it's an island. I don't know, whatever. I don't care. Like you could create anything, like create an island and all that stuff. So but the goal is that you will create multiple different thumbnails with different ideas, and you'll try to see like which idea is matching the theme of your, you know, of your concept, of your game, of your overall, like in this case the theme is you got these guys that look like frozen people, right? Like they're made of ice or something, like they're snow people or whatever. I don't care what do they look like. Like right now it doesn't matter. But like they're like frozen people, ice people, or snow people, or whatever. And the whole region, the whole environment is like rocks and volcanoes, right? So it's like a whole fire and ice kind of thing going on here. So if there's a fire and ice kind of thing going on, so like the environment could be like, if I say like, oh, I want an island with a volcano mountain, sure, it looks cool, but how are the frozen people going to stay in that, right? It's an island, it's like a tropical region for the record. So following that, if I already have this, and then I would be like, okay, it would make more sense like if I just have a apocalyptic, you know, devastated land kind of place, or I could create like an Iceland region, like a completely frozen region, which is now melting, which would make more sense, right? So these are basically how you're going to come up with ideas, and then you start making thumbnails around that. So if that can be done, you pretty much have solved the problem. So yeah, I'll do this tomorrow. I'll probably make the thumbnails later and come back. I did 3D too, and hitboxes were a pain there. Yeah, platformers are hard. Platformers are hard. Hitboxes are a pain. But most of the time when you're working with a team, somebody else will take care of that, and you just take care of the art part. Like at least in the concept department, I'll just be taking care of the art. I will not be taking care of like you know, game mechanics. But I will read through the game mechanics. I will understand what the game mechanics are, and then I'll build a theme around that. Like, it's very important to read those documents all the time. So yeah, that helps. That really helps. Uh, but other than that, I don't know what else I have in this work. Um, that completes the level design and it completes the. I mean, it completes. Yeah, it completes the level design. It completes platform placement of the concept. It also showcases the scale. The other thing I also did was it showcases. That is. Uh, it also showcases like how the collisions or the hitboxes are going to be placed to a certain degree. Like because currently I'm working on this and there is no game designer doing this. Like there is no game designer period right now who's working on this. So like when the game designer does step in and I show them this, they'll modify it and make it like appropriate and correct. You know, like which actually works kind of thing. They will do all that stuff. But other than that, uh yeah, I think I'll call the stream for today. That's about it. And I will come back tomorrow and continue the BG environment for this and finish that off. So thank you whoever joined, whoever sees this video later on. I hope it has some information that's gonna help you, you know, as a concept artist or as a hobbyist or whatever. But I hope it helps.